Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been gone for a while, but here I am back with another video. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a quick walkthrough. Not really quick, kind of pretty thorough, but not too in-depth of my kayak setup. How I use it, things I use. This kayak setup is not necessarily just for one type of fishing, so we'll get to that in a bit. Again, if you guys have any questions or recommendations on how I can improve this, please feel free to drop it down in the comments below. I am learning how to do this. Actually, next month, I'm hoping to enter my first kayak bass fishing tournament. Still waiting on a couple things so I could do that. But yeah, let's get right to it. All right, so my kayak is the Lifetime Tamarack, sorry, Teton Pro. Uh, um, I purchased this, I want to say about 3 years ago, off of Facebook Marketplace. I want to say I paid like 400 for it. Might have been 500. I can't remember. It's been a couple years. When I purchased it, it was bone stock, how you get it from the store. No modifications to it. They even had the whatever paddle is sold from Walmart or Academy, wherever they sell these at from. But yeah, and then everything else you see on the kayak I've done, including some extra holes that I mistakenly thought would work, something would work out, and it didn't. So we'll go over those too. But yeah, since we're at the front of the kayak now, or the bow, let's start off there. First of all, I have my marker lights when I do happen to travel at night. As you can see, I have my red one over there, green one on this side. They're super bright. Those are, I drilled a hole over here at the end, or at the back of it, ran them into this compartment in here, and then just basically glued them on. There are plenty of brights. I have a pole with some more lights in the back, and I'll show you guys those. How I turn these on and off, turn these lights on and off, I have a switch over here, and that one's easily accessible to me when I'm sitting in there. But before we go further back there, this is, I guess, like my leash. So I tend to fish the Merced River, pretty soon the Stanislaus or Tuolumne River. And sometimes it's super shallow where I can't paddle. So what I do is I end up, because this already comes with a loop made into it, what I'll do is I'll just run it like that, throw it over my shoulder like so, and then I just walk upriver like this, and I can actually be fishing and pulling the whole kayak. Yeah. And then this compartment here is actually my battery compartment. So right in here, I have my big trolley motor battery. I'll have to put it somewhere around here. How big this is? It's a big battery. I can't remember the amperage, amp hour. I can't remember how big it is, but I'll put it somewhere around here. And I do have a fish finder, and that one's actually has a 7 amp hour battery. That battery was actually from one of my son's Power Wheels, which stopped working, so I ended up just tactically acquiring that battery from him. But that way there's no interference between my main battery and the trolley motor, any electronics to the fish finder. I heard that there can be some like interference with those, so it's recommended that you wire them separately into separate batteries. How much of that is true, I don't know, but I had that battery laying around, so I went ahead and threw it in there. I used some expanding foam and some cardboard and made like a little mold for it, and it has a nice little compartment inside of here where it doesn't move around at all. And then obviously my big battery in here. And then this big old hose is actually for my sump pump. So in case I do take on a lot of water in the inside of the kayak, I actually just connect my sump pump to this, and I can just pump it out. And then this line is actually glued to the lowest point on the kayak up front up here. Yeah. All right, so moving down, this is new. This is my attempt at a DIY, I guess they're called command bars or something of that nature. Basically, you could mount any electronics on this right up front. I plan to use it for an umbrella. I know some of you are questioning, why an umbrella? Well, sometimes I actually just go out and paddle with my son in here. He sits right up front, and I just try to give him some shade, right? Not let him get too exposed to all the sunlight and everything, and you know, just try to keep him cool. So actually it clamps onto here, and then it just, you know, just kind of provides shade for him. This is a mount for a fishing rod holder. However, I don't always use it, especially if I'm bass fishing. This, actually I have it right over here. As you can see, it's a very, very big fishing rod holder. This is more for like when I do carp fishing or cat fishing. I'll throw this in here, and again, it's a quick release. It just sits in there, and I could, you know, it clicks in there, and I push this button, it comes right off. So yeah, I normally don't use that, especially like I said, if I'm bass fishing. I'd like to keep this as clear as possible, because there has been some times where I'm in the river, where I'm walking, and it suddenly gets too deep, and I'm like, okay, well now I need to, you know, hop in the kayak, and it just makes it easier for me to jump in here with nothing in my way. Versus on that side, I really have a lot of stuff, too much stuff, and I can't get in sometimes through that side. So I have to really kind of plan out how I'm gonna jump into the kayak sometimes. So like I was saying earlier, I have my fish finder right here. It's the Lowrance Hook Reveal 5S. It's a long name, but it's, I don't know, it was the cheapest, about second cheapest or cheapest one I could find on sale at Bass Pro last year, actually. So I haven't had this for that long. However, it's very helpful. Again, it's kind of a learning curve when you start learning these things. If you don't know what you're doing, most of the time I'm able to get, you know, water temperature. Excuse me, all these mosquitoes around here. Yeah, water temperature, the depth, what kind of vegetation is underneath me. So it does help as far, and I'm able to mark on here and save like pinpoints on lakes and where I find structure. So as the more I use it, the more familiar I get with it, the better I become with it. But it's not something you just throw on here and, you know, you understand how it's looking, or how it works. So it takes a little bit of learning, a little bit of practice, but I mean, it helps me plenty. And then again, the cup holder right up here. Again, I have another one over here, but this one is mainly for any baits that I take off, any soft plastics or whatever. I don't want to, you know, just throw it on the floorboard of my kayak. I just throw them in here. This also has some little rings where I can put in like the actual hooks or whatever it is, just hang them off of there so they dry before I throw them in my box and they get all rusted. So that's where I hang them. This is a 3D printed anchor reel. I found that this on Bamboo Labs. Somebody else had created this, and I printed it out and just to see how it works out. So far, I haven't had any issues with it, but I guess time will tell. I mean, it's plastic after all, and it's 3D printed plastic. I don't know how strong it is. I know they make. Who makes them? Yak Attack makes some. Anchor Wizard is the other one, and those are both made out of like a really strong plastic or metal. So we'll see. We'll see how this works. I might eventually have to get one of those, but for now, this is working just fine. Again, like I mentioned earlier, my lights are up here, and this is what I control my bow lights, and then I have a little toggle switch over here. This one controls my trolling motor. I bring it up for if I'm in shallow water or I'm getting out of the water, whatever it is. Right through here, I push it down, it goes down. On this side, I have my trolling motor controls as far as like forward and back. I have 5 speeds forward. However, only 3 are working right now. I have no idea why. Probably got water in there. And it messed something up, but it's still working. I got my 2 yeah, and then it stops right there, and my top speed works. I don't know what's going on, but it still works, so I just leave it alone for now. I don't really use those middle speeds. I actually just go pretty slow, so I use like speed 1 or speed 5. Maybe 2 sometimes, depending on where I'm at, but that's about it. Other than that, oh, and it has 2 reverse speeds. So slow and fast. But this is very easy for me to hit right there. It's on my left side since most of the time I hold the reel with my right hand. Yeah, again, my leash for my paddle. Again, this is an upgraded one. I think I bought it at Dick's Sporting Goods. I can't remember how much it cost me, but it's a lot more comfortable. It doesn't bend as much as the one that comes with this kayak, so you know it works better. I'm actually able to use it sometimes to push off when I'm in too shallow water. Yeah. On the seat, it's still the Lifetime seat. My wife actually got me this car seat pad, which helps, especially when I'm out there for a whole day. So that's that. Underneath the seat, I just keep my bag of plastics, especially the ones that I plan on using throughout the day. I just throw them underneath. Oh, I almost forgot. The anchor system is just paracord, and it just has this carabiner clip, and then I use that like actual boat anchor that spreads out, or I use chains depending on what I'm doing. Again, like I said, I fish the river or the lake. So when I'm fishing the river, I like to take the chains because they just drag, right? I'm not just stuck in one spot. I actually kind of want to slowly move back with the current, depending if there's rocks and stuff. It also won't get stuck. So this one works just fine. And then once I bring you guys on this side, you guys will see I forgot what this is called, but I think it's like a trolley system or something. But basically this allows me to either make sure my anchor or my anchor point on my kayak is furthest forward as possible, so that way I'm facing into the current and not the other way around, which could potentially be dangerous. And then again, I fish lakes sometimes, so sometimes I'm just anchored down because of the wind. So on a lake, you know, I'll probably anchor down from the middle or from the back, so my back is towards the wind and I'm casting with the wind instead of against the wind, right? So that's why I have this, and that helps with that. Moving on further back, right over here, this again is for mainly when I use this for multiple types of fishing, bass, catfish, or carp. And this is just like a little puck right here. And I actually keep my worms in here if I am fishing with worms or whatever else I'm fishing. It's just easy, you know. You get them on those cardboard little pucks, and sometimes I throw them underneath my seat where I used to. And then it was just lost in there. I couldn't reach it. I'm over here fumbling around trying to find it. Well, this just gives me a spot to put them in. And then again, this is 3D printed. You'll see a lot of that throughout. I've been getting a little creative with 3D printing and printing a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, and the hood on the fish finder right here, this is 3D printed as well. Moving on, the seat does come with some hooks, and I actually hooked that to my crate right here. That's just to keep it from going forward every time I stand up. Sometimes this just keeps it up, right? However, I can unclip it if I need to, for whatever reason, but most of the time I just turn around and just open my crate right here and get into it. Since we are on that side, I don't want to give too much stuff. Switches right here. I have some switches on this side, and these, one of them doesn't go to anything. The other one actually turns on and off my antenna over there, or my whip, whatever. It's not actually an antenna. I don't have a radio on this. But it's just like a pole. Let's call it a pole with the lights. And as you can see, I have my flag on here. And then I do, on this cup holder that I have on this side, I have it with a carabiner. I have the remote attached, and I have it on green just because, you know, I don't know, green. But I could change it to blue, change it to red, and I could, let me see, there's modes. So I could do all colorful, you know, 4th of July is coming up, so I could do good old red, white, and blue. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you guys can see it. Yeah, so I could do all sorts of colors on it. I change it, you know, whatever I want. Change different colors. It's almost like an LED controller, you know, for like the home and stuff. Turn it off, on and off through this. I can change the brightness. I can make it brighter. I can make it dimmer if I want to, depending on what I want to do. The speed of the lights. I can make super fast or slow. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I believe I got this off of Amazon. Can't even remember how much it was. I want to say like $40, $45, somewhere around there. Yeah. Oh, and I leave it on green because I guess green light attracts fish, and so I don't want to scare fish from away or whatever. So yeah, just in case I do, for whatever reason, forget the controller, and I just flip the switch, it just stays on green. That's just my thought process behind that. If you guys have any suggestions or opinions on that, let me know down below in the comments. Okay, moving on. This is a DIY camera pole. Yak Attack sells some. I believe there's a few other companies that sell some, but man, they were like $100+. I might be exaggerating, but still, they're close to that. Especially after you buy the mounts, you buy the track, and everything that you have to purchase for it. You know, I just sacrificed a fishing pole mount here on that comes built into the kayak, which I normally didn't even use anyways. I bent this piece of PVC pipe. I had a T end for it, threw it on there, and then, you know, put a screw and a GoPro mount on it, and voila. I drilled a couple holes. Well, this one already had a hole up top, and then I drilled another hole down here, and then I run a USB-C cable all the way through here. And that way I could always charge my GoPro, so I don't have to worry about it dying on me. And the SD card lasts me, I believe I could record up to like 7 hours on that, or maybe more, just depending on which one I use. Yeah, that's, oh, and then moving a little bit further back here, of course, you guys can see that I have my, let me turn that off. I have my crate. This is a crate that I built on my own. This is actually my second crate that I built. It's a bit longer milk crate than most people use. Some people mostly use the square ones. This is the like large rectangular one. So what I did on this one, I actually purchased a couple of them because the guy was wanting to get rid of them. And so what I did is I cut the bottom portion of one and then use that as a lid. I know most people use like zip ties to tie these together. I use an actual piano hinge. They're not that expensive. And I feel like this is a lot sturdier and it's gonna last longer than zip ties. I'm always afraid zip ties are gonna wear out and eventually just snap on me. This way I don't have to worry about that. The rod holders for these, they're made out of PVC. There's plenty of YouTube videos on how to build these crates, and they also show how to make these rod holders out of PVC. Basically, all you do is you take a heat gun, you heat up the end, and then you find a glass bottle or something to flare out the tips, and then you get this flare, and then you just cut that little notch so your rod fits perfectly. What I did is I went to Harbor Freight. and I found myself a pack of these bungees. And so when I want to strap this down, all I do is go across, and then, oops, I just run across, and then I bungee it to the bottom of the same pole, and then that holds the fishing poles in place. I have enough fishing pole holders for 8 rods, so 4 on each side. However, I don't think I even own that many rods. So normally I do have like 6 fishing poles with me. This one being included, my little light crappie rig, because sometimes I get bored, I'm not catching any bass, so crappie it is, right? Yeah, and then I put these bungees up top so I can easily access anything. Like up here I just throw some soft plastics. I also have these markers that I 3D printed, and basically they have a weight right there. You throw them, you know, like I see a good structure or a school of fish, whatever it is, and I just cast this or throw this in the water. It'll start unraveling, and then this will float, and now I know I kind of mark the area where I need to cast to. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention is I do have these tie downs and tracks back here for the crate, so it holds it. It's not like super steady, it still moves around a little bit, but if I do get into some turbulent waters, whatnot, you know, some big waves or something, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna lose all my stuff. In here I do keep all my tackle boxes, and you know, I have them all labeled: crankbaits, glide baits, top water, all that stuff. I have some sunscreen, my scale, and mosquito repellent. Oh, and then here's my sump pump, or not sump pump, bilge pump. I said sump pump earlier, didn't I? It's a bilge pump. This is actually from Harbor Freight. It's a fluid transfer pump, multi-use transfer pump. That's what it is. But guess what? It works perfect for what I need it for, and it's cheap. Yeah, and you don't need to spend a whole lot to, you know, get out there on the water and have fun, which is the main point, is just to have fun. Yeah, now this brings us to my motor right here. Again, I kind of DIY build this. The cart, which is actually holding the kayak up right now. Sorry. The cart, which is holding the kayak up right now, would go right here when I do launch. After I launch it into the water, it just upside down and goes into here, and that's where I keep it. And then nothing really gets in the way of anything else. This is the actuator, you know, helps, it just, you know, electronically moves up the trolling motor up and down however I need to. And then these are the wires that come back here from the wires that come back from the pedals. Again, I'll actuate those. I'll push on those, and then that pulls the motor one way or the other and turns me in the direction I need to go. Again, this is the 45 pound Minn Kota trolling motor. Alright, this is what it looks like from my point of view. I have my fish finder right here, my cup holder, my throttle for my motor, my paddle right here. This is a bait puck, what I call it. It's 3D printed part, mounted on the track. This right here is my little assist strap to stand up. It does have a GoPro mount up there, but I never really use it. The rod holder, the anchor reel. Obviously this would be attached to the anchor, and it's usually underneath my seat. On this side I have a 3D printed little organizer for my pliers, and then my fish grips, because you know you want to keep those fish alive. My second cup holder with the remote for the whip light back there. Again, my trolley motor right here, or not trolley motor, the trolley line or whatever it's called, to adjust where I want the anchor to be at, versus if I want it up front or if I want to be anchored to the back, depending on the wind, the current, whatever it is. Oh yeah, then my steering, again, I push on this. It's pretty easy. Go forward and back. Look at that. I learned that the more leveled you have these cables, the better. Before they were angled up at the back and it was a pain to push. Now it's just super smooth. Because this is plastic on plastic, you do have to put some WD-40 every once in a while, clean it off. If I do get like mud and grime, sand and all that, it does get a lot harder to push, but as long as I'm only pushing on one at a time, it's pretty easy, as you can see, and I can steer completely both directions, no problem. Yeah, and then for looking back, again, that whip light, I have a switch on this side, on my left side, and just flip it on. There we go, and voila, it's on. It's super bright. My GoPro mount right here. What else? Again, my fishing poles is pretty easy. I normally just turn around like this, and then I could get to anything right here, as you can see. Whoops. Get all my tackle boxes, whatever I need, my sump pump, any extra stuff I have, it's all right here, accessible. Not much falls out of this except for these things. Don't always have them with me, but I guess I'll leave them in this for now. Again, most of the plastics that I do use while I'm fishing at a certain time, I usually just keep one Ziploc bag, and that's it. I try to not overcomplicate things and take more baits than I need, because then you have way too much to choose from, and then, you know, I'd rather learn how to use a few of these and learn how to use them well, and then move on to next more baits. But yeah, that's pretty much the setup, the kayak setup. Again, I use this to fish the river, as you've seen in some of my videos. I use it to fish the Yosemite Lake. Hopefully soon I'll be going to Lake McClure or Don Pedro. I heard those lakes are pretty good for fishing. Yeah. You guys let me know if I missed anything. If there's anything else I can add to the video. If you have any questions regarding registration of this, how I built anything, you want me to go in depth on how I built anything or how I mounted anything, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have suggestions on how I could better mount things, or how I can build something, or if I could find something online, please let me know. Again, I am learning at the same time. I am learning from my mistakes. Like I said, I do have some ugly holes in here that I don't use anymore, because I thought I could easily mount something and it turned out to be a terrible idea. However, I pretty much have it set up how I want right now. I'm comfortable with how it is. I know it seems like a lot of gear on here. At the same time, I don't always have everything with me. The net, I have nowhere to put it, so this is where it goes. It's easy access. If you go back to my video from the Merced River, you notice that I was towards the end of the video, I actually caught a fish and I didn't have my net. And I caught it on actually this tiny pole that I have back here, which only has like 4-pound monofilament line. And that fish was probably not 4 pounds, but it sure felt like it. I thought it was gonna break off, and so anyways, long story short, I need this is the best place I could find for the net. However, I do want to figure out another way to mount it somewhere. I just don't want it to get in my way. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, anything down below. I'm glad to respond as soon as I can. And again, hopefully by next month I'll be in my first tournament. See you guys. Guys, I almost forgot the most important part of the whole kayak is PDF. Um, PFD. To say PDF? Jesus, I need to get out of the office more. Anyways, this is your personal flotation device, PFD. Yes, while on the kayak, I always wear this. Is it hot? Is it kind of cumbersome? Kind of, but you know, you're out there in the water, you want to be safe. I want to get back home to my family safe. Heard of plenty of accidents happening, people not wearing them. I actually used to wear one that one of those that you like self-inflate. You pull a tab or a string and it inflates. And you know, thinking about it, I'm like, you know what if I fall, hit my head, and then I'm knocked down the river, and I can't pull that string, and then what? I'm just gonna sink to the bottom. Somebody's gonna find my kayak 3 days later down in the delta and nowhere to be seen, right? So at least with this, I'll float. You know, I'll have some chances of survival. At least somebody finding what's left of me. I know it sounds dark, but you know, it's reality. Anyways, past that, yeah, this is a PFD. I picked it up at Bass Pro. I can't remember the exact model. I know it's the Ascend, I believe. They had it on sale. I had points for Bass Pro. As you can tell, I don't shop there very often. Anyways, so I purchased this one. It actually fits very comfortably. For me, it's perfect. Again, I 3D printed a mount for my GoPro that goes in this little clip area. I don't even know what this is called but it clips on there, and this is how I get my POV point for my other GoPro, my second GoPro. It has pouches in here. In here I usually keep snacks, whatnot, little bars or anything. I do have the leash for my phone, and then my phone just gets put into this outside pocket right here. And then this leash just gets clipped onto this little loop that's down there. And then this zips up. Sometimes I do keep extra baits or when I am fishing. This is a 4-pound leader line that I have on another 3D printed part. If you guys are interested in these parts and all these little 3D printed things, let me know. I can print them out for you guys. I keep that in here. What else? Oh, this one that's got a buckle. I keep my shears, scissors for cutting my line, my braided line or anything. Has a bottle opener and this thing to crush the little drop shot or little weights or whatever. Yeah, that goes in there. My whistle, which I took off, I don't know where I left it, but it's usually in one of these pouches as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, you have to have a life jacket when you're out there in the water. You know, you got to be safe. Oh, one more thing before I forget. All my GoPro mounts and accessories, my wallet and everything go in this dry bag. Again, I just roll it up just like any dry bag. I'm sure most of you know. You roll it up, you clip it, and then this one has a little clip on the end of it. And what I do is I clip this to the back of my seat. If I don't have another backpack or something, I throw it in there. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, so I throw this, and again, I try to let enough air in there so that in hopes that if I does go off this chair or something, this will float. As you see, there's some air in there, and that's the whole idea. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. And make sure you wear your life jackets because they save your life.